Hello and welcome back to Man v Film. It's time for my January watch pile. Everything I kind of picked up, everything I watched, my current battle with the watch pile, which this month, this month, this month was an interesting month, and I will say that because I was having a great month right up until roughly the tail end of the month. And within 4 days, things just went crazy. Not in like it was unfortunate because I was doing well. We'll get there. Let's go to everything that I picked up in January. A lot of it is not my fault. Okay. Passing the blame here. First up, I got this amazing set, the Sidney Lumet Volume 1 set with 6 movies. This was a review copy from Imprint that sent me this. I really did want this. Sidney Lumet is a terrific filmmaker. I do have The Offence and Serpico on Masters of Cinema releases. Great movies. I wanted the set to get some other movies I hadn't seen before. I've watched them all terrific. Fantastic release. From Eureka, I got Kung Fu Cult Master, which was way different than I expected. I did do reviews for that movie, and yeah, that was mental. Absolute crazy. Next up, I've got one I've still to watch, and that is Slaughter in San Francisco. Chuck Norris, Wong Tao. I'm not expecting much. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like I'm going to watch it. Chuck Norris is a bad guy. I just hope it's fun. You know, it's one of those movies I just want to put on, tune out, and just enjoy. Sometimes you need a film like that. Okay, let's jump into a bunch of Vinegar Syndrome and partner label kind of titles that I picked up this month. So first up, we have Bill Plympton's The Tune from Deaf Crocodile. This was wonderful. Absolutely loved it. One of my daughters sat and watched it with me. She thought it was fantastic. The animation style, the ideas, the story. It's a 69-minute film, and it was just wonderful. I loved the kind of rough and ready artistic style and how sometimes it would be so beautiful and other times it would be so abstract and strange and odd. Amazing. One thing I picked up in the Vinegar Syndrome kind of sale, I suppose, or the New Year's kind of sale, well, everything I picked up, I had points, so I didn't really buy anything, which was a relief. So I've not bought a lot of movies this month, but I did buy this, and it's silly. It's a case for Freeway 1 and 2. And I figured since I wasn't buying it, it didn't really matter. I'd pick it up anyway. Another one from Deaf Crocodile, Zero Grad, which was reduced to like $10, I think, or something silly like that. And it just, I remember seeing the trailer for it, and it was one that kind of captured my imagination. And I just bid my time, picked it up. Part of the subscription package was Santet 1 and 2. I've not dived into them as yet. I don't know what to expect. They look wacky. A film that I wasn't overly excited about getting because I've just seen it recently. Released by Radiance in the UK. We now have The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock, which was a 4K disc released by Vinegar Syndrome. I don't know. I felt like the Blu-ray was a strong enough release. It was part of the subscription, so I was getting it anyway. I will see if there's anything special on the disc when I get into it. My friend Andy was like so excited when this movie was announced, which is why I picked it up. It's Sex Mission. He said it was one of those movies that he just couldn't believe was getting a Blu-ray release. He loved it. I wanted to get it, so I picked it up. One that I was in two minds about getting because I already own the first movie, and it's a kind of VSA. And it's the first kind of one with a booklet because it kind of comes with this. It's Black Cat 1 and 2. Now I have the first one from 88 Films, and whereas I enjoyed it for what it was a rip-off of the Femme Nikita. I didn't think it was great. I want to see the second one. So I had that. And then we have Forgotten Gialli, Volume 6. I love the Forgotten Gialli sets. This one actually has a movie that I've heard of before, the Bloodstained Shadow. In fact, I've seen it. I own it already. And yeah, Death Carries a Cane seems to have a great reputation as well. And then the other film is Naked You Die. Of course, I had to get that. As part of the subscription, I was getting it. I'm so excited. They're doing another Forgotten Gialli set this year as well. So super excited about that. And finally, from the Vinegar Syndrome ones from the end of the month, because I got 2 partner label titles that came earlier in the month, I got Southern Comfort in 4K, and it's one of those ridiculous sets that has a slipcase version inside this along with a booklet. I love Southern Comfort. I think it's a fantastic film, a great Walter Hill movie. 4K, no-brainer. I was absolutely getting that. Okay, so the 2 other partner label titles I got at the start of the month, one was the King on Screen documentary. I love Stephen King. I'm a big fan of his books and somewhat fan of most of his kind of adaptations, good, bad, or indifferent, as a lot of them can be. And yeah, picked it up. It was good. It was interesting. I felt that there could have been more in it. I would have happily sat for hours watching a chronicle of all his adaptations, but we don't quite get that. It focuses on a few. It's got some big names, but it just wasn't what I hoped for. Wasn't as much as I'd hoped for. It was fine, and that's about the best I can say about it. I also got The Mysterious Castle in the Carpathians from Deaf Crocodile. This was surprisingly great. I'll talk a little bit more about it later on. Some reviews that you may have seen already is the 4K release of High Tension from Second Sight Films, which I really did enjoy. Never mind the ending. And Mean Streets, which was fantastic, an absolute standout for me. There was also 4 pickups from Radiance this month. One for Raro Video. Death Occurred Last Night, which was a kind of police procedural, which I just utterly adored. And the reviews for all of these on the channel, if you want to tell more, I, the Executioner, which was phenomenal, probably my favourite out of a very great month for Radiance. I, the Executioner was terrific. Watch the review, pick it up, trust me. We have Goodbye and Amen from Deano Deani, which is another really solid film, surprising. I thought it would get a kind of techie, but it circumvented a lot of that and created its own kind of thing. I know to almost American thrillers. And finally, the one that I haven't reviewed as yet is The Sting of Death, which again was a phenomenal release. A breakdown of a family unit, a couple torn apart by the husband's infidelity and the unwillingness to forget, and the wife's struggle to hold on to her sanity with his betrayal. Sounds like heavy stuff. It was an incredible watch. Fantastic production design, great settings, and a wonderful tale of a power struggle in a family unit. Review for that will be coming soon. I got a little bit ill at the end of the month and I couldn't record for a while and everything was just down, I suppose, but I'm back now. Last pile of the stuff that I received. All of these were from friends. So Joe sent me a bunch of stuff. We got 4 titles from Cauldron. First up, Off Balance. Amazing. Michael York, Edwidge Fenwick, and Donald Pleasance. Terrific. And I like this one because it's kind of portrayed as a giallo, but you get to see all the inner workings and you're almost following the antagonist. So you're aware of what's going on as he's taunting the police chief, played by Donald Pleasance. And it's got a sort of wonderful, weird twist to it. Crazy makeup. Absolute standout of the 4 Italian films that, that Joe sent me. So next up was Ratman, which was probably my second favourite of the 4 he sent. Tension, atmosphere, suspense. It had it all. A creepy little rat guy. Wonderful main pairing of a TV mystery writer and a sister of a model who are trying to find out what happened to the model. Great pairing, but wonderfully effective horror sequences in this that are really great, and the gore was terrific. Next, from the Cauldron films I got was Top Line, a movie of two vying covers. So first off, we've got this, which is indicative of the movie, and also this, which isn't as much, but hey, this was a Franco Nero movie that really just blew my mind the way it kept making left turns completely unexpected. A man, a writer, he's at a Colombian jungle. He's an alcoholic. He's had better days. Goes into the jungle looking for a story and discovers spaceship. And then it becomes a conspiracy theorist movie with him constantly being chased. And then there is a alien Terminator that turns up. And then it kind of veers into they live and the thing kind of territory as shifting humans attack him. Everything I love about Italian movies in one Italian film. It was crazy. And as much as that was crazy, this was crazy as well. The last match, the final one from the Cauldron pickups. I do love Cauldron. The last match was about a woman who is caught for smuggling drugs in a Caribbean small island. Her father is a star quarterback of a football team. He goes there and tries to grease the wheels and get her free. It's not going to happen. So they do the only thing that they can do. The entire team comes over in their American football clothing with assault weapons and storm the prison to help her escape. Ernest Borgnine is phoning in a performance here as the coach of the football team. One of the standout sequences is him in a helicopter shouting plays as the team assault this penitentiary. It's crazy. Got to love Italian films. They're mental. Now on to a couple of my favourite releases or gifts this month, because I've got some 4Ks of movies I just utterly adore. First up, The Monster Squad, which is kind of intimidating to do a review because I just want to gush about the movie. It holds up tremendously well for me. It's one from my childhood that I adored. This is a great release. The 4K looks amazing. It's got the Wolfman's Got Nards documentary on it as well as a bunch of other extras. I just love this film. And the good thing is, my kids love it as well. And one that Joe sent over for my daughter, who absolutely adores this movie, Clue. She loves it. We sat and watched it together. It's one of those great experiences you get to have as a parent, sitting with a child, watch the film. We've watched it a few times together. We loved it. We laughed our asses off. We think the performances are hilarious. It's one of those movies you need to watch because it's got this great cast of characters, and no matter who's in the background, always watch the background. They're always doing something incredibly funny and true to that character, which is great. And finally, one that I've not watched as yet, Creepshow, which again, I'm going to subject my daughter to checking this one out because I think she'll love it. Maybe. Creepshow is one of the best anthology horror movies ever made. George Romero, Stephen King together, creating absolute magic. One I still to watch as well from Fun City Editions is The Apprenticeship of Duddy Kravitz. I don't know anything about it. I'm not going to look into anything about it. I'll just throw it on and hopefully be wowed. And finally, my friend Paige sent me one of my favourite movies to enjoy with my girls again, and that is the 4K release of Starship Troopers, which I think it was 97 it came out, or maybe, yeah, around about then. And the effects are absolutely phenomenal, and they still stand up today. It's ridiculous how good they are. I'm looking forward to sitting down at some point and watching that with her. And that's everything I got. 38 films I picked up this month, and like I said, I had 8 that I picked up until about the 26th, 27th, when all of a sudden the floodgates or the letterbox opened and all these things arrived at once, completely blowing out the water all the good work that I feel I had done this month. So let's dive into Letterboxd and have a little look at what I watched. So here we are. We're in Letterboxd here. Let's go to yeah. So I always try to start off the year with a movie that I just love, like a firm favourite. I finish the year that way. I start the next one. So I finished with Tremors 2023, and I started with The Big Short, which I feel is one of my favourite films. It's just there's something about it that just captures my imagination. Absolutely adore it. Now I was working through the sort of spaghetti western box set, so I had Kioma and A Bullet for the General to watch. I watched them back to back. Amazing. I loved both of these titles. It was a wonderful set. I recommended it last month. Absolute standout. The Laughing Woman from Shameless was a terrific release, and what a movie! So surprising in almost every way, and it's a very cat and mouse film with a woman trapped in a man's house who is threatening to kill her and alludes to the fact that he's killed many women before, but he's going to have his fun and torture along the way. I watched Dave Chappelle's The Closer and The Dreamer, just because sometimes you want a few giggles, and Dave Chappelle always gives that. Then I watched two VSAs, A Gun for Jennifer, which a review has recently went up, and Untold Story 2. Again, both reviews are on the channel. Really enjoyed these movies. Gun for Jennifer was a real surprise. I wasn't expecting much. Untold Story was different from the first one, completely unrelated, but I really did enjoy that as well. King on Screen, which I briefly mentioned, could have been better. It's fine. I wanted more, and I wanted it to be more in depth. Black God, White Devil from Mao Films is a review I recently uploaded. It's a Brazilian movie. It was really interesting and something very different. Two great documentaries on the disc as well. Redneck Zombies was the first one from De Gauser Video, another sub-label from Vinegar Syndrome. I liked it. I don't know if I'd go back to it. I preferred the first half to the second half, but the second half does have a lot of effects which are wonderful. It just didn't make me want to rewatch it. Kind of glad that I watched it, good extras and everything else, but yeah, enough for me. Treasured Films Mausoleum was great. I'd seen the film multiple times before. I wanted it because of the extras that were on the disc and a magnet that came with it. Impulse Buy, what can I say? It was great watching it again. It's such a ridiculously over the top movie, silly, but comforting. I watched the 4K disc of Existence. I love that movie, just flat out love it. I think it's amazing. It's fun. It constantly keeps moving. It's surprising. It's gross. It's got some wonderful ideas. I just love it. Another V essay that I watched was An Eternal Combat. Crazy film. I have got a review for it. I don't know if I've posted it or not actually, because I'm still recovering from my illness and I can't remember. I do know I've done a review for this one. It was a weird story about a Taoist monk fighting evil, and then somehow they get transported to modern day, a bit like The Iceman Cometh, but more comedic. And it just kind of has these two big battles, one near the start and one near the end, which are fantastic, and a kind of lot of filler in between that. I watched Daryl in 4K, courtesy of Vinegar Syndrome. What a movie! It's so cheesy, it's so manufactured, it doesn't make much sense, but man, it's just entertaining. It's one of those 80s movies where they just did the magic of creating fun, engaging films that you could rewatch again and again. It seems to be a lost art now. Mean Streets from Second Sight Films, terrific. I think it's a really interesting film. In Scorsese's films, it's not the top. It's good. It's a great kind of precursor to what would come from him. When Taekwondo Strikes, I really liked, and even looking at now, I feel 3 stars is light for what that should be, because I thought that was a really enjoyable film. The transfer was fantastic and the action was amazing. I don't know if I trust my 3 star on that. Samurai Wolf was amazing, part of the Samurai Wolf set, which you can see we've got the second one up here. These two movies were fantastic, absolutely great, and for just about 75 minutes, both of them, well worth checking out. I utterly thought these were fantastic. I could have done with more sequels of this, like a dozen of them. I would have sat and just watched them one after another. Great performances, great action, great kind of sound design and setup. Everything about it was perfection. 2 films, 2 discs in this package. If you haven't picked up Samurai Wolf yet, consider it. It was amazing. High tension, which was, I really enjoyed it, even with my misgivings about the ending. I burst open the Georges Papard set, which I'd been eager to check out, with PJ, which was a wonderful private detective story. I've got a review coming soon for that. Kung Fu Cult Master, as I said, was crazy, absolute mental. There's a review on the channel already for that. Death occurred last night. The Italian procedural from Rero, again, it's on the channel. I, the Executioner. Again, I'll just say it once more. You need to get this movie. It's phenomenal. Goodbye in Amen as well, which was terrific, from Deano Deani, part of the Radiance range. Cinema Novo and Glauber Rocher were both extra documentaries that were on the Black God White Devil disc. Now, I watched these because I didn't really know much about this Cinema Novo movement. I didn't know much about the director. Both of these kind of gave me lots of information, and they kind of work together in parts because they kind of touch on each other a little bit, which I thought were terrific. Pendulum was another one from the Georges Papard set, which was really solid. I enjoyed it quite a bit, actually. The Executioner was probably the toughest one to get into, pretty much because Papard is playing a British spy who was born in Britain but went to America to kind of cover his accent and then came back to work for the British forces. It's a good story. It's got some real twists and turns in it, and I grew into the movie, but it was a little bit hard to get into to start with. I watched Golem by Piotr Zolskin, which was another solid movie. I think I preferred the other 3 films I've seen of his so far, but Golem was a kind of interesting one. The Sting of Death, which I still have a review to come up for, close to I, the Executioner for release of the month from Radiance for me. I think I'd rather watch I, the Executioner again. Don't underrate this movie. Fantastic. The Last Match, which I've seemingly done a small review for, which is probably just a blurb, a one-liner. Knowing me, I spoke about that one, enjoyed it. I watched Wonka with the kids again because they wanted to see it. And surprisingly, I preferred it more on a rewatch. It's going to be something I can see the kids watching a lot, so I'll grow sick of it pretty soon. Top Line was the Franco Nero one, which was great. Monster Squad, fantastic, love it. I can't move away from the fact that it's something that I've loved from growing up. The nostalgia's in me. I just find it a comforting, easy watch movie that I could probably recite. Not a problem, but I just, 5-star, heart, the full works. Phantom of Death is also known as Off Balance, which was that crazy giallo movie with Michael York, Edwig Ferrich, and Donald Pleasance. The Mysterious Castle in the Carpathians, which was a really funny kind of Jules Verne strange tale of oddity, which, I would highly recommend. And I finished off January with The Tune and Clue, kind of back to back. An evening with my daughter, we watched a couple of movies. Tune was wonderful. I'll have a review coming soon for that one. Pretty much about a guy trying to finish a song, and he discovers a bunch of wacky characters who kind of help him on his adventure. The animation was tremendous. And Clue, again, which every time I watch it, I appreciate it more and more. But it's one of those movies that depends on the mood that I'm in, how much I'm going to love it. No doubt I'll get to it again at some point. And that's kind of everything I watched already into February. And I was diving into more movies as it was. But yeah, so numbers, because everything goes down to numbers. I started January with 232 films in the watch pile, and I hit the ground running. I didn't order many. I just watched everything that I was getting, and I was firing through the films, and I was so happy about that. And then the end of the month happened, and about 29, 30 movies came through the door in the space of 2, 3 days. That never happens. That is such a weird oddity. Yeah, I don't know if I can go over that kind of craziness that just happened, but it did. What can I do? It appeared. So I added 38 movies into the collection, which then gave me 270 total. I managed to watch 34 movies, so it puts my running total up to 236. If I hadn't received all those movies in, I'd put a good dent in it. And yeah, I feel not great about it, but I feel it could have been a lot worse considering what came through. The fact that I wasn't well and just had a couple of days of just sitting watching movies really helped as well. Let's have a look at what's coming ahead in February. Okay, so in February, I will have Second Sight's film of Inside. In fact, that review is probably going to pop up today, which will be in the past by the time you're watching this. So yeah, I will be getting Inside. I have already got Slaughter in San Francisco to watch. Yakuza Wolf 1 and 2 from Eureka as well. Let's see, Paths of Glory in 4K. I'm looking forward to checking that out. I haven't watched that one as yet, so it'll be interesting to see it in 4K for a first watch. We then have the Radiance releases by A Man's Face, Shall You Know Him, Black Tight Killers, and Alonso Fan. So I will probably get those three. Black Tight Killers was something that I thought that looked terrific. Evil Dead Trap 1 and 2 from 88 Films. So I actually ordered those today direct from their website. I had 20 odd pounds worth of points. They were down to $14.99 on the website. So I thought, yeah, do you know what? I'm trying to save money. I'll go for it just now. There's a couple of things I'm going to miss out on immediately. Street Law with Franco Nero, which I can get later on down the line. The same with Gold, which I'll probably leave. Severin have a couple of movies out this month as well. We've got Nightmares in a Damaged Brain and Bad Biology. I've not made up my mind about that. 4Ks, I may possibly pick them up, depending on how my watch levels are going. There is The Nurse from Shameless, which is Ursula Andress. So that looks interesting as well. I may pick it up, depending. And that's kind of February in a bunch for me. I'd really like to get that watch pile number down. I'm going to continue what I'm doing. I feel as if I'm in the groove of watching movies. It's going down. It's the influx that's happening that's causing me the pile to rise. But I'm in the habit of watching at least a movie a day, and that's going well, sometimes more than that. So I'm going to continue that all the way through February, and hopefully come the end of February, I'll have seen a good bit of distance in that watch pile list. I better have, because it's one of the things that's stopping me from buying more movies. I've been adding anything that I want to get that I don't get onto an Amazon wish list, so I know what to go back and get at some point. Maybe wait, get them at a discounted price. If the watch pile's too high, I just simply go, no, I can't get that this month, and add it to that. I wait for a deal to turn up. So I feel as if that's working for me as well. If I remember, I'll try and drop what is in my watch list, what I've still got to go through in the description box below, and you can see what I've still got to watch and tell me to, get to this one quicker rather than later, and you can encourage my viewing habits. So yeah, that is January as a month. It's now behind us. We're now into February, in which case I have hit the ground running again with watching my movies. You can see it on Letterboxd, which I'll try and leave a link in the description box. But yeah, memory isn't great, so we'll see if I manage to do that. But anyway, thanks for watching. Drop your comments on anything you've watched, picked up, anything that I've inspired you to check out, anything in my watch pile you think I should get to. Let me know, and I will see you next time on Man v Film.